guys. Okay, I have Andrew back in the studio. And every day that I have to look at him, I look at his hair and it's growing like Wolverine. So I said, I'm going to paint you like Wolverine today because it's got to match your hair. And I'm going to actually gel the rest of this thing going on. Let's get started. I'm going to start off by loading my brush with this new blue. It is the Brilliant Blue from Fab. It's a really good superhero blue, really bright and intense. That's the kind of blue that I like to go for, especially when face painting, so that it stands out. So I'm going to start off this design on a slant. So it's going to look almost like your butterfly wings. So you want to start off here and come up, but you do want that point, okay? So even though I'm using a flat brush, I can get a nice point on it because I lift it up to the tip. So then I'm just going to come down a little bit on his nose, and then I'm going to round out over his eye, and from there I'll connect. Because whenever I'm doing little boys' faces, I try to leave the eyes open. Now from that section, I'm just going to come down a little bit more, and then I'm going to kind of view it in. So I like this flat brush for that more than anything else because it gives me that nice roundness. So what I do on one side, make that even. And the good thing about being able to paint him like Wolverine is he already has this scruffy face going on, so he works that out, and then he has this insane hair that I want to cut. I want to wait till he falls asleep. His hair is bothering me. So what I do on one side, I'm going to do on the other side. I start here. I'm going to come up, press, and lift up to a point. I come down a little bit so that I know where I'm going to stop. And then from here, I'm going to connect to the corner of the eye and make a nice round shape over it and fill in. Now remember what I did, oops. So remember what I did on this side. From here I came down and then I make a U. So a big U right there. I'm gonna fill this in and then I'm gonna fill in under here. Who the hell? So now I'm going to take my yellow. This is the lemon yellow. Again, using the same brush, just going to load it up because we're going to create that semicircle in the middle of the forehead and bring it down onto the nose. So I am going to start off right in between here, and I'm going to make almost like a half circle. And some people like to go all the way to the corners. I encourage you to do whichever you prefer doing, but again, I like using this brush to cover larger areas. Now once you have the basic shape down, now is when you can just start outlining it. And that's the good and fast part about a design like this, is that it really has a lot of block color, and then you're just going to outline. So again, picking up my brush, picking up my black, and you want to keep your lines pretty steady. You don't want to have a lot of wiggly lines, so work on that line work, guys. Marcella just did a class on FABATv called 100 Teardrops. I encourage you guys to go check it out. One of the best classes I've ever taken, and I know her, so that's always a good thing. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do, put your head down a little bit, is I'm just going to start here, thin line, press, lift, so that you get that nice thick to thin line. I'll repeat that on this side. Lift. And guys, make sure that you're checking out my blog on FABAblog.com. It's really good information for you guys. I try to give you tips, hints, tutorials, business advice. Those are all things that I wish existed when I was growing up as an artist. So it's there for you for free. All right, so I'm just going to, again, also trace that line right there. So I do a variation line of thick to thin. Outline, come in here and just bring it up to meet it right inside of there. Same thing down here. And notice that I don't have to reload my brushes often. That's because I do a really good job of loading it by making sure that the paint goes all the way to the ferrule. Alright, so nice smooth movements with those. And then I'll just connect it down there. Now if you want to make it more menacing, if you want to make it a little bit more scary, then you're going to want to just embellish the eyebrows by coming up and making almost like a hook so that you're lifting them. And using my sponge, I'm going to darken a few areas just right along the corners. So I just took my sponge, make sure that it's really almost dry. You don't want it wet, because if it's wet you're going to get far too much black. So I'm just going to kind of tap in right inside of these areas very gently with my sponge, nothing too much. So I just tapped in a little bit more of that black to kind of give it a little bit more of a scruffy look. So using my white paint, I'm just picking up a little bit of white, and remember you want to let the blue or the black dry a little bit before you start outlining or giving any highlights, because if not it's going to turn gray. So I'm just going to highlight right inside of here very gently. Give it a little bit of a highlighter along this mask. Right on the inside of a lot of the black areas. And inside of here as well. Kind of bring it down, gives it a little bit more of a serious look. And then it really depends on your preference, but you could also take a chisel brush like this and kind of drag blend, make sure that it's not too wet or else you're going to ruin it. But just kind of soften out some of these lines up there if you want to give it a little bit more of a shaded look. I'm going to go back in, kind of give it a little bit of a re-moisten. I think that's a word. If it's not, I'm sorry.
I made it up.
I made up that word. Using a little bit of blue glitter, just tap my finger in there, pick it up, because this is not blue glitter, this is superhero glitter. And I'm just putting it right along the top of the mask. And then just right inside of there. I'm not even going to go in with the gold, but I like to kind of make those accents sparkle. And then, all right guys, thank you Andrew for being my super duper Wolverine. Thank you guys for joining me. Make sure that you text me or write me or fill me in if you know someone who can fix this Wolverine dude, because I can't handle him one more day. All right guys, make sure to check out FABATv and Silly Farm and Faba blog, and check out the website because we have tons of cool things going on and my tour dates. All right, bye guys.